What's good, Gacha gang? Kawaii50 here with another FGO video. Now, I was originally planning to do a video about Lancer Artoria Altar, but then this servant's buff just straight up came out of left field. And with how happy the community is with this servant getting some attention, I felt it was about time for this video to come out. So today we are going to be talking about the first ruler in Fate Grand Order post-buff. That's right, it's Jeanne d'Arc. Craft essences, command codes, allies, we're going to talk about everything and anything Jeanne d'Arc needs in order to become a true powerhouse on your team, though not necessarily in the way a lot of people would traditionally think. If this video helps you out, be sure to go ahead, like, and subscribe. Of course, let's start off with Jeanne's stats. Jeanne has a quick Arts Buster deck and an Arts-type Noble Phantasm, so when it comes to gaining NP, she really isn't in a lot of danger. Looking at her max HP, it is absurd. At 16,500 HP, Jeanne is currently the character with the third highest max HP value in the entire game. And considering her ruler class as well, her propensity to just not take damage from opponents, that HP ends up going very, very far. Jeanne's max attack of 9,593 is less impressive, but considering Jeanne's role on your team, that really isn't that big a deal. Keep in mind that if you plan to grail Jeanne d'Arc, her HP is going to cap at 18,076. Again, insane. Jeanne's star absorption is pretty average at a 99, so you're going to see her getting some of your critical stars, and overall that might end up helping her overall Noble Phantasm gain. Jeanne's first skill is Revelation Rank A. This grants your entire team critical stars, and that's 3 to 9 critical stars every turn for 3 turns. Now, this is a very simple skill, but remember, a Fragment of 2030 is one of the most powerful craft essences in the game, and this basically does what that does. So go ahead and max this skill second. The star gain every single turn is very, very nice, but Jeanne does have one other skill that really needs to be maxed first so she can perform her role on the team. Jeanne d'Arc's second skill got buffed on JP, and it is the buff of the century for her. She has not gotten a lot of attention in a long time, so to see what was once her weakest skill get buffed is a great treat for Jeanne fans. Restoration of the Radiant Holy Light rank A keeps the decrease in the enemy's NP strength, but it also has a couple of other boosts as well. Not only is the decrease in enemies' NP strength now apply to every single enemy, not just servants, but you also get to decrease the enemy's defense, a 10 to 20% reduction for 1 turn, and a 20 to 30% reduction for 3 turns. Defense reductions do stack, so you're looking at a total of a 50% reduction on a single enemy, meaning whoever your main damage dealer is going to be dealing some pretty significant damage. You can still go ahead and safely max this skill last though. The defense reductions are still pretty substantial even at skill level 1, and NA players aren't going to be getting this servant buff until April of 2023. Jeanne's final skill is the one you're going to want to max first, and that's because she has such a powerful presence in boss fights as well as challenge quests. Divine Judgment rank A has a chance to inflict a stun on a single enemy servant, and that has a 70 to 120% chance. But Jeanne's stun functions a little differently compared to a regular servant stun. See, Jeanne's stun is an effect called Bound. It's similar to stun, but this stun ignores stun resistance and stun success rate up buffs. It's a very important distinction that not a lot of people keep in mind. But this means that you are going to see, if you've got this skill maxed out, a far more effective stun from Jeanne, something you can definitely rely on. So that's why it's so important to max this skill first. Jeanne d'Arc's buff to her Noble Phantasm was the first thing that really ended up kicking her into high gear. The upgraded version of Luminous Sight Eternal increases the defense of all allies by 5 to 25% for 3 turns, and this is entirely dependent on the NP level. I have an NP2 Jeanne, and I've got to say that 15% defense boost is really, really nice. The main reason you'll be using this is for the Invincible that gets applied to all allies for 1 turn, and after this Noble Phantasm gets buffed, you also have a complete debuff cleanse for all of Jeanne's allies. You are definitely going to want to chunk this last when it comes to Noble Phantasm priority, because the overcharge effect is a restoration of HP, and that is 1000 to 3000 HP per turn for all allies for 2 turns. If you somehow manage to max this out at a 500% charge, for example, that is 6000 HP recovered for all of your allies. This is the main reason Jeanne gets such powerful staying power, and she is such a powerful anchor for Challenge Quest teams. There's a reason you see so many Jeanne d'Arc Challenge Quest solos. They may last for like 700 turns, but it is still very, very possible. When it comes to picking craft essences for Jeanne, I don't really have a lot of recommendations. See, considering Jeanne's very supportive role, there are a few craft essences that are more than optimal on her, and everything else just really ends up following by the wayside. So for your freebie option, I would definitely recommend His Rightful Place. This grants stars per turn and also gives Jeanne a starting NP gauge, so you're going to get to that first Luminosite Eternal far, far faster. Of course, more optimal than this is a Fragment of 2030. Considering the stars per turn will stack with her first revelation skill, you are able to provide your team with a steady and consistent stream of critical stars, so your main damage dealer can deal the optimal amount of damage. Another craft essence that is truly incredible on Jeanne is Prisma Cosmos. If you know you are going to be relying on Luminosite Eternal more than the stars per turn, if you're in for a prolonged battle, this is going to be the craft essence to put on Jeanne. This grants a steady, solid stream of Noble Phantasm gauge per turn, so even if Jeanne doesn't have the opportunity to use her arts cards on particular turns, you can be sure she is still building up to that Luminosite Eternal to pop it when you need it. When it comes to recommending allies for Jeanne d'Arc, I've got a strange little hodgepodge for you all. Considering she is a supportive servant, she ends up really functioning well with pretty much any damage dealer. She is not set for a specific arts, quick, or buster team. She is just that flexible with the support that she provides for boss fights as well as challenge quests. So rather than just simply recommend a bunch of art servants, instead I'd like to recommend a lot of servants who can function very well as anchors themselves when it comes to damage. If you end up pairing any of these powerful anchors with Jeanne d'Arc, you are going to have a team that is going to be ready to weather even the most insane onslaughts from some of the most powerful bosses in Fate Grand Order. Let's of course kick this off with our freebie option, probably one of the most Grailed to 100 servants, and the servant who can easily carry you through the entire game. That is Cuchulainn. Cuchulainn is absolutely incredible. He's got a fantastic gut skill that recently got buffed to increase his attack based on his remaining HP. His protection from arrows skill is absolutely legendary, and he has the ability to remove his own debuffs. You end up coupling this with the fantastic support in the form of critical stars, healing, and invincibility that Jeanne d'Arc can offer, and you've got a servant that is prepared to weather any storm. Speaking of servants that can weather any storm, let's of course take a look at Heracles, a truly magnificent anchor in his own right. He does have a rank up coming to us in 2022, where he's able to increase his own Buster Card effectiveness while Guts is activated. His Guts itself is insane, as is his Bond Craft Essence, and he has the ability to give himself a little bit of an evade. But as usual, all Berserkers are made of paper, so any sort of healing and invincibility they can get is going to be able to help them while their Guts is on cooldown. Speaking of powerful, survivable Berserkers, we of course gotta talk about Cuchulainn Alter. Cuchulainn Alter, oh my gosh people, this Berserker is insane, and I am just wondering if he even needs a rank up eventually. This man has a powerful protection from arrows and a battle continuation himself, just like Heracles. He's also able to decrease his enemy's attacks, so that ends up helping with the fact that he's made of paper. But with him still being made of paper, pretty much everything that applies to what I said about Heracles applies to Cuchulainn Alter. The first Hassan is, of course, a truly horrifying servant in all regards. He's got a magnificent gut skill, and he has the ability to recover his own HP as well. But any bonus he can get to recovering his own HP is going to be incredibly helpful. Pairing the first Hassan with Jeanne d'Arc means he's going to be getting even more critical stars, which will help his very buster-heavy deck eventually end up refunding him some of that Noble Phantasm with his singular Quick and Arts card. So he is going to be able to use Zabania a lot more than usual. Plus, just being able to keep him around ensures that he's going to have a chance, if your boss fight has minions, to potentially kill those minions with every single attack. And finally, of course, let's talk about Superhuman Orion. Superhuman Orion even has his own arts type Noble Phantasm. So, hey, if Superhuman Orion ends up drawing his singular arts card, you can chuck that at the end of an Orion Jeanne d'Arc Noble Phantasm chain and end up refunding some of his Noble Phantasm so he can use Artemis Agnos yet again, which can truly push his critical strength to some of the most absurd limits. Plus, look at Jeanne. She has the ability to passively generate critical stars, and if you got a fragment of 2030 on her as well, all those critical stars are going to flow directly into Orion, so he can use some of his borderline mythological buster damaging chains. Truly a match made in heaven right here. For Jeanne's command codes, she is in a purely supportive role, so we need to focus on recovering her HP, giving her some defenses, basically anything and everything we can do to keep her around for as long as possible. So, for example, for a freebie option, Code Bless, simple yet effective, recovers 100 HP when attacking using the Engrave card. It may not be much, but every little bit of HP helps. Speaking of HP recovery, consider giving her Bride of the White Rose. This recovers the party's HP by 200 whenever she attacks with that card. Again, not much. Every little bit helps though. I need you all to remember this. If you're looking to give Jeanne some sort of damage cut, consider giving her First Servant. This grants her a 300 flat damage cut one time for one turn when attacking using the Engrave card. With her already powerful Ruler class, she's going to be receiving the lowest amount of damage on your entire team. So being able to reduce that even more is going to really help with her staying power. And finally, if you want to have a little bit of fun with her, consider throwing BB Slot on one of Jeanne's cards. This provides one random effect, but all three of these effects are very, very effective on Jeanne d'Arc. She can gain 5 critical stars, she can recover her HP by 500, and she can also increase her own debuff resistance by 10% for one turn. Any of these effects are purely defensive, and any of these effects are powerful on any ruler, Jeanne d'Arc included. Overall, gang, Jeanne d'Arc is a very reliable anchor servant that finds her place in boss battles as well as challenge quests. Her upgrade to her second skill is even more indicative that this is the role Delightworks plans for her to have, with a powerful defense reduction for any singular enemy or boss. The downfall of Jeanne d'Arc herself is the fact that she still needs her other skills to sort of get boosted up a little bit in order for her to truly become a monstrous anchor, Revelation itself in particular. Now, don't think this is me saying that Jeanne is bad. Not even close. Luminous Sight Eternal is one of the most powerful supportive Noble Phantasms in the entire game, allowing your entire team to weather Noble Phantasm onslaughts that would otherwise kill them, while also boosting them back up to survive normal attacks and then do it all over again. If you need somebody in your backline you know can come out at the last second and snatch victory on your challenge quests from the jaws of defeat, you should look no further than Jeanne d'Arc. But of course, I want to know what you all think, so let me know your thoughts on Jeanne down in the comment section below. For a fun little bonus talk, why don't you tell me a particular challenge quest or boss fight event where yours or a friend's Jeanne came out from the back line and did indeed snatch that victory for you. I would love to hear some fantastic stories about Jeanne that has just helped cement her in the Fate Grand Order community as a servant truly worthy of admiration. Speaking of which, if you want to talk more Fate Grand Order, my Discord is always open. I again want to give a huge thanks to everyone over on Patreon for their continued support. You can find the link to that in the description below as well. And I would like to give a thanks to all of the Twitch followers and Twitch subscribers too. We just recently broke 100 followers on the Twitch, so if you want to see me play some Fate Grand Order, as well as some other games, go ahead and follow me on Twitch. This is Kawaii50, hoping you all have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you all in the next video.